Today we'll be talking about this setup that looks minimalistic and maybe kind of easy. However, it has a very interesting twist. So without further ado, let's get started.
Bigger, bolder, faster. Going to the maximum. Bigger, bolder, faster.
Hi, I'm Peter from Course Makers Crew, and we made this setup for a client that had a really tight, well-made, thought-out branding. And this client wanted the background and the set to look the same as his Figma file. Beam projectors, such as the one I'm using here in the back, are great for most use cases. We are actually using a Fengmi Max projector. It's 4K and it has around 4,000 or 4,500 ANSI lumen. So it's quite bright, it has a lot of contrast. Even in a room that has some ambient light, you can see what is projected on the wall quite well. However, those projectors and any other projectors actually are not that great at replicating the colors. You know, it's very hard to replicate a color that you have on your monitor with a projector because you are actually just shining light on a wall. And the wall behind me is actually gray. So it also makes the color look a little bit different. You know, there is some ambient light. We have our key light that is actually hitting the back wall a bit. That's why it's very hard to make the color look just the same as the monitor. So it was a bit of a problem for us. However, we found a solution. Before I tell you about the solution, I will show you how does this graphic on my background, how does it look without this solution that we made. So as you can see, it looks very uninteresting. It looks like some kind of rainwater puddle of mud or something like that. Nothing that you'd like to see on a video course. However, we found a solution. This solution was a simple light. So we are using an Amaran 300C light. It's actually kind of a budget light and it's really great. I really recommend it because it's a light that is just a Bowens mount light that you can attach any attachment that you really want. And in our case, we used a spotlight attachment. This spotlight attachment is not an aputure made spotlight attachment. It's actually made by Godox. And it works really well. And actually, I heard it sometimes works even better with aputure or Amaran lights than the aputure spotlight attachment. If you used both of those, I'm really curious, so leave me a comment down below. Anyway, we use the spotlight attachment to shine the light on the background and to cut it, because those spotlight attachments have those kind of doors that are before the lens, and you can cut the light and it creates this sharp edge. Then you have to focus the light well so that the edge is really sharp and you have something like that. So one more time, before and after. So that's almost it. However, I would like to tell you one more thing. This spotlight attachment with this Amaran light was really great because we could change the setup during the production of the course. So the course was 3 days and we had around 4 different setups. So let me show you very quick what other setups we had. So now we're in Vmix and you can see that I have quite a lot of backgrounds here to choose from. So for example, if I would like to change the background here to this pinkish background, it is quite easy. When I press the cut button, then we can change the background on the projector. However, we didn't change the lights, so it looks a bit off. First, I can go and change my NAWA 300C light. So I'll go to the presets and I can choose a pink color. This way, we have our main camera that is looking great because it doesn't have this kind of green spill on the right. And as you can see, we also have our second camera, which is the camera on the left. And this camera is looking at the wall with the projector screen as well as on the other wall that is actually colored by the NAWA light. If we turn it off, you can see that it's actually just a gray wall. Okay, so now for the light triangle. We are using an Amaran 300C light to make this triangle, so if I turn it off, it looks like this. Not very good, but I can change the preset, for example, to make it maybe more white, or if I want to change it to be more pinkish, I could use this. If I'm happy with my settings, I can shoot the next episode of my video course, and when we are starting some maybe other subject or a lesson about something else, we can actually change the setup once more. Let's now do this one. So a bit of green and some teal. So this is also very easy to change. As before, I'm clicking on cut here. I can actually do it with space as well, and it fades. So I'm changing the background on the projector. However, I'm shining with a wrong color, and you can see that if I turn it off, it should be green. However, the green made by the projector looks nothing like what we want to achieve. So it's nothing like what the graphic designer wanted it to look like. That's why we are using the Amaran 300C light, and we can use a preset that has a green color here, and voila, it's done. If you're not happy with the color, you can change it, maybe to more yellowish green or bluish green. It's up to you. But for me, this green from my preset is what I wanted to use. Now we have to change the side wall that is on the right, and it's also very easy. We can just choose the NAWA 300C light, and now we can go to the presets and check the light blue color, or maybe teal color. And either way, it looks great. So you can see that I'm actually not using the same colors that are on my PNG file on my image, because if I would use the same hue, saturation and lightness levels, it would not look how it is supposed to look. So working light is not the same as working with file in Figma or Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or anything like that. You always have to remember about that, and you should always talk with your graphic designers about that. If they ask you to make a certain color, a projector, they're also making the colors using light, so it won't be the same. That's it for this video. I hope you learned a lot. Even if you didn't, I hope you enjoy watching me explaining stuff that you maybe already know. I'm also very curious, how did you like the new way of me showing you the setup? I mean the computer screen, the Stylus Link app, and so on. I'm really curious what you thought about it, so leave me a comment down below. Also, if you have any questions, as always, leave me a comment down below. I'll be very happy to answer all of them. Okay, that's it. See you next time. Bye.